The government urged to stop ignoring the plight of single parents as it begins to work to combat UK child poverty crisis. We're going to read into this more from Byline Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from Byline Times with the headline that the government urged to stop ignoring the plight of single parents as it begins work to combat the UK's child poverty crisis. An estimated 4.3 million youngsters are growing up in poverty, and those living in single parent families are often struggle the most to secure help. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. But Regan, what about the two-child benefit cap? What about the two-child benefit cap? Well, as of right now, we know it's not going anywhere. But we also know that that would help uplift a lot of children out of poverty. Now, as some people have said about the two-child benefit cap, I will obviously add this, and I think this is really important context, is that while it will, without a shadow of a doubt, getting rid of the two-child benefit cap would lift a lot of children out of poverty, without a shadow of a doubt, it's not going to solve all of child poverty in the UK. Let's be clear about that. It will make a big improvement, but it won't go all the way. Now, whether or not Rachel Reeves will do something at the budget for it is obviously something we'll have to wait and see come the end of the month. That's just it. Whether she does or she doesn't. Part of me is holding my breath on that, but I know many people were saying I shouldn't hold my breath on that either. But apart from the two-child benefit cap, now they are setting up a task force or commission to look into child poverty. This is something that they've said they are going to do, and child poverty was mentioned at the Labour conference as well, which is kind of like it's a bit of a it is better that they are at least acknowledging that there is a crisis with child poverty rather than just completely ignoring it like the Conservatives have been. So at least there is a talk about it. Yes, I can understand the frustration and anger of Labour MPs and others about not more being done about this, and I'm totally in agreement with you. But I'm trying to pick out some positives in a whole world full of negative on this as well. But obviously this story is about the plight of single parents, because single parents are getting much less of a voice in this than couples apparently who are suffering with this child poverty crisis. And yes, this story is a couple of days old, as you can see there, but I do think it's worth talking about as well. Child poverty should never happen in any society anywhere. Never mind just in the UK or England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, or wherever it is in the world. Child poverty is as abhorrent, and it should never happen. Children should always be able to get the meals, the food, the drinks, the education, the joy in life that all children should get. Children should all be given the best opportunities to flourish and grow into a successful person in society, regardless of their nationality, their religion, their ideology, of where they come from. Everyone should be given that. And it is outrageous. It is outrageous that a country like ours, who is considered one of the wealthiest countries on the planet, and we are one of the wealthiest countries on the planet because we have lots of millionaires and billionaires and a royal family engulfed in wealth. It's ridiculous that we have a child poverty crisis. We should not have a child poverty crisis. And if there's not going to be investment in child poverty, I will be absolutely angry. I hope Rachel Reeves announced something along that, but whether at the budget, but because I'm kind of tired of all the mind games and the sitting around of what Labour are going to be doing. We want to know what they're going to do. We want to see them. We want to see the numbers. We want to see what the changes that they're going to be keep going on about. They keep saying they're going to fix all the problems that Tories and mess have had. Well, we want details, and we're tired of waiting. And not only that, children's lives. Children only get older, and their lives only get harder if they're not getting the help that they need. So this is so on Wednesday, the new Secretary of State for Education, Bridget Phillipson, told the Labour conference that the future lives of children shouldn't come down to luck and that no child should grow up in poverty in modern Britain. So scrap the two-child benefit cap then. The government estimates in April for 2022-2023 found that the situation for 4.3 million youngsters, 30% of all children in the UK, and that almost 70% of them lived in working families. That number was up 700,000 on the previous year, with high inflation and the war in Ukraine blamed. Gordon Brown, writing in The Guardian in May, suggested that the reasons went far deeper and had existed for far longer. Mass unemployment and social security cuts under Margaret Thatcher, Brexit and COVID-19 all played a part before the energy crisis sparked by Russia's invasion. Then regular freezes in child benefit began. The former Prime Minister continued. Blanket cuts in means testing benefits, freezing in work age benefits, the removal of the family premium, elements of tax credit, the limitations of children's benefits, and 2 children per family. This is a lot of things that Gordon Brown has stated there that definitely makes sense. Although Keir Starmer's first King's speech in July contained no specific measures to address child poverty, reportedly angering dozens of his own MPs, a Child Poverty Taskforce was announced. It will hear from struggling families, frontline staff and charities to form a strategy to be revealed in spring 2025. While the news is well received, organisations supporting single parents worried the voices of single parents will be left out of the conversation. Some 44% of children in lone parent families in the UK are living in poverty, compared to 25% for children in a 2-parent family. Policies on alleviating poverty aren't aimed at single parents. Hannah Casvingo, a single parent to an 8-year-old daughter who is currently being assessed for autism, explained to Byline Times that they aim towards a 2-person household. Working 15 hours a week and receiving disability benefits and universal credit, Hannah is desperately trying to hold everything together for her child, but finding it overwhelmingly difficult. Being a single parent, that can affect you in trying to remain positive in front of your child. While you are a single parent, that can seriously affect you, not just physically, but mentally. And you're trying to put on a brave face, trying to give your child the best you can, and it's near to next impossible for them. 10 single-parent organisations have ripped to Phillipson, the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, and Liz Kendall, urging the government to include single parents in their task force strategy meetings. We instigate this joint letter to the ministers because we see time and again single parents overlooked when policy is being developed. Ruth Talbot of Single Parents' Rights told Byline Times. Talbot blames the political choices being made by previous government and for the stark number of children in lone parent families being in poverty, noting that austerity policies disproportionately impact single parent families. So we really one parent family in Scotland who also signed a letter told Byline Times that policies like the two-child policy and conditionally and sanctions actually increase child poverty. Yeah, because you are suppressing the income and benefits that parents need for their children. There should not be these bumps and hoops that people need to jump through to get the income that support that they need for their children, especially when they are struggling. It should be universal. No child should struggle. No child should have to struggle to get fed. No child should have to live in terrible conditions. We should be giving children everything that they need to succeed in life. And yet we are making it difficult for them. It's disgusting. For the 66% of single parents who are employed in the UK, their jobs aren't necessarily a road out of poverty. They often deal with discrimination or inflexibility in the workplace that prevents them from progressing and making more money. Or they fall through a social security net that doesn't catch single parent families. According to Talbot, 73% of families with children get universal credit are single parents, meaning they are disproportionately impacted by social security policy. Over half of those impacted by the 2-child benefit limit created to increase the number of people in work are single parents, and 25% have a child under 3. It's similar with the benefit cap, Talbot said. Almost 3/4 of those impacted are single parent families. This isn't surprising when you realise that the £793 that families must earn to avoid being capped is identical to both single parents and couples, meaning in effect single parents are having to earn double what is in effect in a couple must avoid being capped. and they must do this with no support from my partner. Yeah, and there's that. And in a partnership, at least you have someone to fall back on and lean on. You can lean on each other for support, not just basically in terms of finances, but you have each other to help you pick each other up when you need it as well, in what is a very difficult and hard times for each other, and also put on a bright face for the child. But you're, as a single parent, you have to pick yourself up in that situation. So and like I said, the mental side of that is an extraordinary battle for people to go through. And my heart goes out to those single parents who are literally trying to survive every day, to try and give their child some kind of future. And no one should have to jump through hoops to get what they need for their children, or be capped to give their children the best benefits in their lives. As an example, she cited the increase in work requirements for lead carers, a majority of whom are single parents, which came into effect in May 2024. Saying it didn't safeguard single parents like it did couples. If work requirements aren't met, the parents may receive a reduction in benefit payments. While a couple could have one parent stay at home, the other meet their joint earning requirements, a single person has no choice but to meet the requirements alone, Talbot said. Adding that the Conservatives are moving away from a need system to one designed to try and punish families for not being able to meet earning requirements. Yeah, the Conservatives punish people for being poor. It's your fault that you're poor. Well, no, everybody's situation is different. For single parents who want to work but currently aren't, Talbot said they face ineffective employment support and a flawed childcare infrastructure that creates further barriers to getting the job. Juliet Hawkins of Single Mums Business Network and a single mother herself says lone parents can't simply increase their hours in work to earn more money. They often don't have a support network to take care of their children, and their childcare is either unavailable or too expensive. Exactly. Childcare is impossible for them to pay for, and if they don't have relatives or friends or associates to help look after the child because they have to look after themselves or they've got other things going on, what are they supposed to do? They're screwed. They're screwed in this situation. There's no way out for them. They need to be given a way out. And for those single parents who are disabled or are carers, accessing childcare is even harder. Whereas couples with one parent out of work due to disability or being a carer can still access the childcare funding if their partner works. Unemployed, disabled, single parents and single parent carers can't. The cost of living crisis exacerbate childcare fees, employment barriers, and the basic rates of social issue is at an historic low. All have contributed to 76% of single parents struggling with debt, some of which is at the fault of the Department of Work and Pensions, DWP. Yeah, we've had some absolutely bloody disgusting DWP ministers in charge of it over the last 14 years of Conservative rule. Jane Waldor, a single mum in Darlington, had a debt of $24,800 to the DWP due to an error it made while she was getting her PhD. When she was informed about the overpayment, she had to reply. Her universal credit was stopped. I'm trying to survive on income in a cost of living crisis, the 39-year-old told Byline Times. And then you have these overpayments thrown at you. It's consistent stress. Hawkins said many single parents are consumed with simply trying to survive, and for some it's too much. I personally witnessed half a dozen suicides triggered by financial pressures. Yeah. This is the problem. Because the stress of trying to meet your costs and get to these costs and get by, it's like us. This is also this child poverty here and the poverty that situation. This is what's contributing to the rise in increases in suicides that we've talked about in previous videos as well. This exacerbates this issue as well. And people wonder why this is happening. Because the Conservatives just hit down and knock down on people who are struggling, and always said that everyone's problems is always the poorest in society, those sitting on benefits. While those who are sitting on the rich and wealthy literally have passive income. They don't even need to work, some of them. And then potentially just building up loads and loads of money. And just think about all the money they have sitting in their bank accounts, their offshores, their assets that they have. And then you have people like that, people like them who just can't even get a meal. Research by the charity Gingerbread highlight that single parents are twice as likely to have felt depression because of money worries than other UK adults, and 88% felt worried about the rises in prices essential over the last 12 months. Ultimately, it's children who have the most to lose growing up in poverty. Physically, children in poverty often face malnutrition and poor living conditions who can lead to chronic health issues and significantly impact their emotional well-being, sometimes resulting in depression and other mental health challenges, Remington of One Parent Family Scotland said. In a letter, the signatories have urged the government to consider single parents in each of the thematic meetings held and request a specific meeting to discuss single parents' poverty to ensure that Child Poverty Taskforce strategy addresses the specific needs of those families. The Child Poverty Strategy development process represents a huge opportunity for this government to transform the lives of generations of children, Talbot had concluded. Excluding single parents from this process risks squandering the opportunity and leaving millions of children to live in poverty, harming not only their future but their children's future too. We have to create a mindset to the British public that benefits are important, that are needed, that people need benefits to survive, that some people just cannot live without them. There are people in situations in life where they simply cannot work, they can only work a certain amount because of the situation that they're in. Because of I know everything is all tied together. I know we have a cost of living crisis. I know that wages are not good enough. I know that there are lots of factors in with healthcare and whatnot. But we need to change this mindset that people think that benefits are bad, that benefits are a terrible thing. No, people need helping hands in life. You know, everyone needs a helping hand in life. People need, especially when people are struggling, they need that support. And this idea that it's literally the mindset of some of these mindless people is that survival of the fittest. Oh, you can't make it. You can't do the money you don't, or maybe you should work harder, or maybe you should get a better job. Dude, some of these people are stuck in this situation. They cannot get out of that situation. I always tell people who think they know better, try putting yourself in their shoes. Try living a life, where you have literally no money in your bank account, literally scrounging every day to get on by. Like, put yourself in the shoes of a single mother, who has a child or two, and they are trying to give them the best opportunity in life. They have no one to support them. And they barely make enough money to get by. Put yourself in their shoes. Because you have no idea what it's like for these people. I have no idea what it's like for these people. What I do know is that these people deserve the best opportunities they can, just like each and every one of us who are fortunate enough to have roofs over our head, to have the jobs that we have, to have the money that we have, to be able to have the things that we want. Because some of them will never, because some of those people who are down at the bottom will never know what it's like to have them. And that's really, really important. Child poverty is an abomination. It should be abolished globally. Globally. Never mind UK, but globally. Child poverty is an abomination on society. But what do you guys honestly think? What do you guys make of this story from Byline Times about the plight of single parents? Do you think this UK government will take their single parents on board? Do you hope they will, at least? Do you think that they will tackle child poverty, regardless of whether they will remove or keep the 2-child benefit cap? Let me know your thoughts and more about all this down in the comment section below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, because it really does help support the channel. If you want to go one step further and financially support me in the work that I do on this channel, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for just 99p. You can also check out my Rumble and Patreon content for exclusively on those platforms as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.